So we've gone over how to use the tracking sheet. So now you're probably all wondering, well, how do I score my meals? I don't even know what a 1 or a 0.5 or a 0 is. So that's what we're going to go over next. And again, this is a document you should have received in your email, the Healthy Flag Meal Guidelines document. So if you could have that handy, that would be helpful as we're going over it. So to get a score of 1, a meal must minimally contain some source of protein, 1 cup of vegetables and or half a cup of fruit, a source of hydration, and additionally each compliant meal must be eaten 2 to 4 hours after a previous meal. Okay, so that's how to get a score of 1. Now, in a situation where you have a score of 0.5, that means the meal is missing one of these above things or contains 1 serving of a non-compliant food. And we're going to go over what a non-compliant food is and also more details on the above things here. To get a score of 0, again, a meal is missing more than one of the above or contains more than 1 serving of a non-compliant food. And, this says see nutrition guide for details on above. We will go over that in just a minute. So there's things that qualify as neutral foods and drinks. So these foods or drinks are not required at every meal, but if you'd like to include them, that's fine. They don't add or take away from your score. So coffee. You can drink this anytime as long as it doesn't have any added sugar. It does not count as hydration. Okay? Then there are healthy fats such as avocados, nuts, seeds, nut butters, things like that. Again, not required at every meal, but they are important. And they are limited to 1 serving per meal if including. And again, we're going to go over what 1 serving actually is for all of these things. Additionally, starchy vegetables and grains also fall under the neutral food category. So sweet potatoes, white potatoes, corn, peas, rice, oatmeal, quinoa, pasta. Again, all of these things can be included with your meal, and you would still get a 1 as long as you're having 1 serving per meal if including. One thing to note is that starchy vegetables do not count as your actual vegetable in a compliant meal. So again, to get a score of 1, aka a compliant meal score, you need 1 cup of vegetables. So those starchy vegetables don't count as vegetables. You'd want to be eating broccoli or spinach or some other type of vegetable in addition to those starchy ones. So non-compliant foods and drinks. So again, eating 1 serving of these foods listed below would make the score a 0.5. If more than 1 serving of any of these foods is eaten, or more than 1 non-compliant food is eaten, the score is 0. And I'll go over some examples in just a minute. And the serving sizes are designated in the parentheses. So this is a pretty self-explanatory list. I don't think there's anything that's going to be super shocking on here. Again, if you have questions, please post on the Facebook group. One thing I do want to point out, alcohol of any kind, that does count as a non-compliant drink. And added sugar. Again, these things are all things we know are not super healthy for us, with the focus in FLAG being on eating mostly nutrient-dense foods and eating less empty calories. All of these things listed here are what would count as empty calories, essentially. So here's just an example of what compliant meals or a score of 1 looks like. So in this particular situation, you have at least 1 cup of veggies right here. You have a source of protein. In this case, it's steak. And then they also have some brown rice. Now, again, this rice is a neutral food. This meal would still be compliant even if this rice wasn't here. However, if you are including the rice, half cup of rice only to still get that score of 1. And drinking at least 8 ounces of a hydrating fluid with both of these meals as well. So this one over here is just a piece of chicken and, again, some veggies on the side. Compliant as long as you're drinking something with it. Down here we have a breakfast meal. So we have half a cup of plain oatmeal, vegetables with these eggs, so you have veggies and protein right there, fruit right here, and then 8 ounces of milk, which can count as your hydration. Over here, this is a quinoa salad. So it has quinoa, which is a grain, veggies, and also beans. So the beans would count as the protein. This could be like a smaller meal. It could be, on the side of a meal, kind of whatever works for you. And in this case, the serving size would be 1 cup since the grain is mixed with veggies and protein. So if you're just having rice, it's half a cup. If it's mixed with vegetables or protein, the serving size can be 1 cup.